Photojournalist Nick Moir covers spot news for the Morning Herald, one of 3 daily newspapers in Sydney, Australia. A 10-day story that erupted one Christmas morning would challenge all the skills of his 8-year career. The holidays were over when Moir saw a huge cloud of smoke moving across the clear blue skies that day. Wildfire, sparked by lightning and spread by fierce winds, had begun to encircle the city of 4.5 million people. Moir, who has shot for the Morning Herald since he was only 17 years old, is a specialist in photographing fires. His expertise is no accident. He actually has trained alongside professional firefighters. When heading out to cover the fires, Moir first slips into his fire-retardant suit.
This rise around here and see what we can see, just to really see how intense it is. I mean, it's obviously very intense, but and also just to get a general direction of where it's moving. The westerly winds are definitely back. They're from the west-southwest. Anyway, we're heading back down to the areas that are in the middle of smoke. They probably have no idea of what's heading their way, because it is a behemoth.
Although the fires surrounded the city, they often were burning in hard-to-find and difficult-to-access forests and bush areas. To record the moments when the fires threatened people and property, Moir must locate the blazes and find a way to reach them safely.
This has probably been going for a little while, but I don't think anybody's realised that it was bad, because it's been so smoky around here for days that they didn't notice any change in the smoke. But as soon as we went west and got into some clear air, I mean, it's quite evident that something really bad is going on in the south. Oh shit, we've got to get out of here now. It's pumping.
Beyond cameras and lenses, this photographer's gear also includes a firefighter's helmet, goggles, face mask, and fire-retardant uniform. The helmet and specially treated uniform resist sparks and embers. The goggles help keep his eyes clear when he is surrounded by smoke.
Fires just don't get that big without significant wind. This one's probably getting so, it's probably, with the little bit of oxygen that's moving into it, it's got so hot now that it's creating its own wind. It's pulling air into it. It's so strong. White smoke, it's lighter material that's burning. The dense black smoke is like just extremely thick, and it's also it's to do with what it's burning. It's burning through entire trees at the moment, and it's must be almost exploding the trees. These are the winds that are coming through now, are what set those off. So any fire that gets touched by these winds is going to explode, and will probably become uncontrollable, something like that.
After using a digital camera to capture his first photos, Moir immediately transmits them to the newsroom to meet an early deadline. His car becomes a portable office where he sends the images by laptop computer and cell phone.
I'm looking at absolute nuclear bomb clouds going up south of Springwood. Yeah, mate, if you're around, get into it.
Moir and other photographers exchange stories and news tips on a break during their long day.
And I pulled over and it's this old man. I've gone and had a look at him, and his head is just, all his hair is singed. He's got white hair and it's all got all the yellow singe in his eyebrows and his eyes.
The guy?
Yeah. So I've just got in nice and tight, and just got a shot of his eyes with his singed head, and his... Oh, you couldn't believe the bloody carnage up there though. Like, yeah. He didn't lose his house.
In front of the fire is the best place to be, because that's where the action will be. The fire brigade usually, in normal circumstances, will attack a fire from the side and not head on because it's too dangerous. But on these occasions, they are purely on the defensive, so they'll just sit in front of a house and try and defend it. So, I mean, that's a very good opportunity for photographs, because it's going to be, these guys, even though they look impressive, these hoses, they do absolutely nothing to a strong, hot fire.
Moir is looking for drama in his photos. When the raging fire approaches, he wants to be near enough to the flames to use a wide-angle lens, but far enough away to come out alive.
I rang this one in on the mobile because we got here before anybody did, like 10 minutes before in fire brigade. A crown fire, that's when you really have to start thinking about your safety. I would probably stay as long as I could near the house, and if it got to the point where I couldn't drive away, I'd probably get inside the house, because the houses usually burn 10 minutes after the fire has actually passed, so you've got a bit of time.
Moir prefers to shoot with film rather than use the digital camera. He says he can capture a wider brightness range with film.
That's my initials. Nicholas Allen Moir.
He marks his rolls and writes captions for the pictures. To make its deadline, the newspaper dispatches a helicopter to pick up the film. After 12 long hours in the field, Moir and fellow photographer Dean Sewell finally returned to the newsroom to process and edit their last rolls for the day. Morning Herald uses a dry-to-dry processor for assignments shot on color film. The negatives are ready in 12 minutes.
Nice sort of tide photo. Just here, these guys walking up a back fire trail. This young girl, I mean, she must only be like 19 or something, and she's in the brigade. I mean, this is hardcore stuff.
Moir selects and scans his negatives into a computer. He adjusts each photograph's brightness and contrast.
I like a dark sort of image with so yeah, exposing for the fire is good. It gives a really good mood. It makes the smoke even more ominous, and you know, a dark image is always moody and imposing. Sometimes during bushfires, if there's not too much smoke above you, you'll get, and you have trees and smoke amongst the trees, you'll get these nice beams moving through. The fire was racing along, being pushed that way, and every now and then the wind would suddenly jump back this way like that. So it was racing up behind us, and we were in probably the most dangerous place, because as soon as the wind changes, it comes straight at you from a wide front. It probably passed through here in about 20 seconds, really quickly, amazingly quickly. I've never seen fire move so quick. Silhouette's good to give a good impact picture, because it makes the person anonymous. They could be any firefighter. This picture It gives a element of size to the fire. This was a place where a couple of fireys had been left behind by their crew just to keep an eye on a house which looked like it was going to burn. And the fire made a run along like a bush line which happened to go straight towards us. And the wind just suddenly picked up, blew the entire front straight at us, and the fireman has hidden behind the tree, and huge burning embers have just run at us. I've taken a few shots, and then we've ducked down underneath a bit of cover.
The Sydney fires burned for 10 days and scorched thousands of acres of land. Thanks to the more than 10,000 firefighters who battled the blazes, only 117 homes were destroyed and no lives were lost. In the end, though, only a hard, steady rain could extinguish the fires, which officials have called the largest emergency in the country's history. Nick Moir covered the blazes every day. His images provided the Morning Herald's readers with a dramatic daily report of the inferno that threatened their city. I have to read the whole thing.
To get into those fires, so they say that they will continue for perhaps weeks until we get some substantial rain.
In conditions which are going to be as bad, if not worse.
That means dry westerly winds up to 60 kilometres an hour, with temperatures in the 30s feeding the hungry flames. A pattern far too familiar for a city now in the middle of its driest spell in history. Yesterday's air was so dry that humidity was less than 5% for only the second time in 50 years.